What up, y'all? We back, and this time we trying something new. Hopefully, we got some guests, some new guests, with a lot of insight on certain things that's gonna arrive tonight. But tonight we talking about conspiracies, and we're also gonna get deep on certain subjects. We might get into my friend's favorite subject, Trump, a little later, but but not right
Yes.
now. Not right now. Right now, Jimmy. Did you hear about this planet? That they said it's 10 times as big as the Earth, but it's just like the Earth. They
Yeah,
have all
it's
the elements
it's
of the Earth.
20 light years away.
Mm, yeah. Do you think?
And yeah, listen, the new telescope they have now is really finding these what they call Goldilocks planets. We don't know enough about it. We've learned they learned to look at the light complex on the planet to know its distance because they've done that with planets that are closer. So we have identified the distance, and we are identifying through certain lenses and ways of saying that this is a planet that could sustain life. You know, we're,
So
we're looking, yeah. So this is pretty amazing,
it
and
really is, but I don't believe it. But I'm gonna let you finish before I go because I'm just
well,
it's
I got to be honest with you. If you don't believe that there is other life out there,
that's not what I said.
okay, what did you believe?
Not
What?
what I said. I said I don't believe that they know that there's an actual planet and they have the technology to actually see. You know what I mean? What's going on, and just to say
Oh yeah, no, we
maybe
can.
they just want to get out there. They want to go that far out, and they want to make an excuse. But I don't think that. But I don't know. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, traveling that distance would be absolutely unconceivable now, knowing what we know now. We are going into what's called a warp bubble, and they are experimenting with it. A Chinese scientist has been able to have a breakthrough of what they're looking at, the intelligence
What
of
does
a.
that mean? Warp bubble.
Well, yeah, this is very interesting. I've been reading up a lot about it. What a warp bubble is it's actually an atmosphere like a planet, like Earth, because you got to realize the Earth is traveling through our universe, our solar system, at 65,000 miles an hour. That's how fast the Earth. Yeah,
That's
nobody realizes that. We're moving a little faster because we're in the dark web. But what a Japanese scientist came up with, he was actually arrested 3 years with experimentation with DNA, with a lot of other things. He's a very, very brilliant guy. But what he actually did was conceive the idea of a warp bubble. That means you can break the law of physics and travel faster than the speed of light.
so
Because,
why isn't that an issue now when they're talking about getting to this planet and they're saying 20
well,
years,
yeah, I think it's
25 years?
impossible to go.
The fuck they're gonna have people in there
Yeah,
that
but this
having
is
babies and or just put a baby in there or something? I don't get that.
no. You're not going to put a baby in there. You're not going to put nobody in there. If they send anything, they would
It's gotta
send
be a
a
robot.
probe. They would send a probe, but we don't have that intelligence yet. We're developing it. It's
Yeah,
it's
but when you tell people these type of exciting things, oh, 20 light years away, there's a 10 time
well, they can show
there's a
by.
planet 10 times as big as it gives people it excites people to the point where billionaires will throw money into that. All kind of people will
Well,
throw money into that
yeah, but
type of
guess what?
situation. And it
Billionaires.
might not even be true. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
well, billionaires. I mean, you do have Elon Musk, who's throwing his own money into the intelligence of SpaceX. He already has saved NASA. He's helping NASA, and I want you to hear me out on this. NASA was throwing away rockets because they were unusable. Elon Musk came up with a system to reuse those rockets, and he's actually had them land back down to Earth. You saw that. And they were experimenting and experimenting with it, and finally they grasped it. They got it, which is pretty amazing. But our exploration into space is what's very important because no matter what, as we progress, as we get smarter, we're able to expand. This is a
Very
starship.
important, but I want to know exactly what's going on. There's a lot of secrets around, NASA and around the government and all that type of shit. Like, if you don't know that people are people and they'll use ways to get funds for whatever bullshit, which is cool if it's towards the cause, but we want to know the details. Don't excite us with bullshit. Oh, there's a planet 10 times away. Give us the, give us this money and this time and space to do all this research and
Well,
really
they are, bro.
show me some goddamn results. You know what I mean? Because I feel
Well,
like
but they are, Mook. But you got to understand, our intelligence is not that advanced yet, where we can go beyond a reasonable scenario. We're discovering, where now that we have new telescopes, now the scientists are going, hey, guess what, we're getting this distance because we're doing this with the lens. So now they're developing that lens, and of course every institution and everybody is behind this because this is really important. The same way they built a space station. Before they built the space station in the 50s, people were saying, what are you talking about? You're going to have a thing in space that we're advancing.
Right.
We're advancing. Right. But we are advancing where we are able to take projective lenses and look. You have guys, just imagine that scientists, guys with PhDs, sit behind an analyzer and look at a chart and go, holy mackerel, man, look at this. I just discovered a way we can get closer to discovering planets, or we can look into space better. Everything is all experimentation. Same way the astronauts died. Right. Everything is experimentation. We're developing things that are just amazing, man. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta be honest. Like, there's been a lot of distrust with the government. There's been a lot of, what do you think about the landing on the moon? What do you think about that?
We never landed on the moon.
See, there we go. Now, I would beg to differ in that situation. I think we did. So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We never landed. You know how my heart would be so broken if the government lied to that level to where they fooled the people and we never landed on the moon. Are you serious? Like, that's fucking insane, man. Come on.
No, Mook, I want to explain something to you. If we were able to land on the moon back then, we did not have the sophisticated equipment to do that. We did hover into space. We did send rockets. Astronauts were doing 17 to 25,000 miles an hour around the Earth for 10 days. Yes, they did that. We had the sophistication to orbit the Earth, but we did not have the sophistication to land on the moon. Yes, it was.
Somebody else, why would they lie about it? If somebody told me because.
Well, it's very, you know Sputnik?
I want to hear your opinion.
Okay, you know Sputnik?
No, I don't know that.
All right, Sputnik was the first astronaut from Russia to orbit the Earth. And Kennedy at that time said our objective is to land on the moon before the Russians. Now, back then, we didn't have satellites that could say or detect, hey, raise your hand. Guess what? Nobody's going near the moon. We don't detect any satellite. We didn't have that sophistication. We did not have the sophistication to go on. Look at the vents that they built on those capsules. They were cut out vents out of metal, bro. There's no way we went to the moon. There's just impossible.
That's amazing. I do more research on that.
But I did a lot of research. I'm going to tell you why.
I got to do my own research. Now look, Albert Young said USA was under pressure from Russia to get to the moon. Russia was way advanced, so USA faked the moon landing. No way USA will come second to anybody. Now, if that's true, which I still don't believe, but if it is, that shows how petty the mind is. Who was the president? You said it was at the time?
No. Kennedy launched the space.
And we love Kennedy. That's crazy.
I'll be honest with you. Kennedy was a murderer, man. He killed Marilyn Monroe. Secret Service killed Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
He was bro, him and both brothers fooled around with Marilyn Monroe. Mm-hmm. Marilyn Monroe was going to expose that and ruin the Camelot.
So what does that have to do with this thing? Like them lying, this big lie?
Bro, listen to me. We are lied to. We've been lied to since this country was developed.
You're right. That's a fact.
You know, when they
This
were
right
looking for,
here, that's just insulting to to all American people that they really at that like you are you
every
serious?
government does it, bro. Look at Russia right now with the Ukraine war.
What's
How
the
he's
point of landing on another planet and pulling that shit off? That's crazy. Now, there's
but if you
nobody
look,
else speaking on this. Like, who's in on this? Are they all dead? Like, what the fuck?
no, listen,
It's a conspiracy that it's not just one person. There's a lot of fucking people involved in this. You know
bro,
what I mean?
the astronaut that just died said we never landed on the moon. He was supposed to be one of the astronauts that landed on the moon. He even said before he died, we did not land on the moon. We never went to the moon.
Allegedly landed on the moon. What astronaut? Is he still alive?
Buzz Aldrin. You said it. Look up, you can ask Google. Google what astronaut said we never landed on the moon that was supposed to be on the moon. We did not have the sophistication to land on the moon. America has this ego trip that we have to be the best.
Okay, so wait a minute. If we didn't, guess what? Why do Americans allow them to take on to that so quick instead of saying, fuck it, we finesse the Russians and Are the Russians, are they laughing at us like, y'all, we know?
No, the Russians aren't laughing at anybody. You're seeing millions of people watching on a black and white TV screen. Okay, and I'm going to give you a for instance. There's the rocket, Walter Cronkite. There's the rocket. They're going up. It's the first orbit into the trip to the moon. Boom. And they're showing you this thing. They're drawing these things. Look, and we're going to go around here. It's going to land here. And they're showing all this stuff. All of a sudden, they have a camera set up, set up facing the stairwell on one of the arms with the first steps onto the moon. Now, second of all, there is no atmosphere on the moon. So you walk and you would like step on the ground and you bounce up, right? You'd almost like fly and you feel like you're flying. There's zero, it's 10 times, it's 100 times less the gravity of the earth. Mm-hmm. So now you got this stage scene, but yet there's no stars on the projection, and there's no cast shadow on the astronauts when they were walking with the Louvre rover. So how the hell could that be? Of course, it was staged on a set. It's a black and white medium, so it's very hard. It's very easy to hide the dirt and the color of the sand because it will be gray. Will come up gray because it's lighter than black and it's not as white. So it's either going to be black, white, and gray. That's what it's going to come up to. And second of all, where they landed, there was what they called a mine crater area, but there was no indication of that. And they were near a sphere mountain. There was no indication of that either. And it showed where they were landing on the moon. So none of that, and I've been looking this up for years, none of it ever calculated out. Yeah, they're saying, oh, well, I guess they did land on the moon. Or you have scientists going, yes, we did land on the moon. You got to remember something. People that have PhDs have classifications with this country, especially with the government. And is the government lying? No, there's a lot of people that don't want to lie, but that's why they disappear and that's why they retire. Is there conspiracy? Of course there is, man. Richard Nixon showed a famous actor. That famous actor was Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra told a story of Nixon. Nixon liked to party a little bit, but Richard Nixon showed him an alien ship. And they know for a fact because Richard Nixon was a kind of, a talkative guy. I mean, look at the shit that he did. He's a lot like Trump. He's talkative. But,
I hear you, Jimmy. We got my boy KB on the scene. Shout out to KB.
Yo. What's going on, fellas?
KB, how are you, man?
You to my
I'm
friend.
doing good.
Good, brother.
And we just got off of the situation landing on the moon and with the government and certain things. We still on the government, and actually we about to flip it to where, like, do y'all think they really hiding aliens or what? You know what I mean? Before we get into the Trump thing, I want to know, like, because that's another thing. Now with Jimmy, he kind of got me thinking, yeah, it is a conspiracy. They didn't land on the moon. So no, now it opens my mind more to thinking like about aliens. You know what I mean? What do you think? Like, Jimmy, let's go.
What I think, of course, I think there's aliens. Absolutely.
No,
I'm not going to say.
But I'm saying, like, did they reach Earth?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, of course. And I'm not going to say that aliens created us because we're made from primordial soup. We have gold, copper, zinc, lead, carbon. We have all the elements of the earth in our body, in our genes. And we have proof of Darwinism and the development of that. We don't understand the DNA profile. We're still figuring that out. But yeah, bro, of course there's aliens. There's no way. And that brings.
That's not the question. I'm talking about, is the government hiding something from the people? That's the question.
Of course. The government's hiding a lot of things from the people, man.
As far as aliens.
Yeah, without a doubt. Absolutely.
KB.
I think that the main thing is that it's just misdirection. Right. If you look at it, when everything started, it started from Admiral Byrd, right? From venturing over the ice wall. When they found out that it was more land, right? Then all of a sudden he came back and he explained to everybody it's more land and more land. He was on TV. He was live on TV telling everybody it was more land, but past the ice wall, past the Antarctic, right? And so when he did that, right, all of a sudden a couple months later, Admiral Byrd dies. All of a sudden they do Operation Fishbowl. Operation Fishbowl is when everybody around shot missiles up at the sky. They all shot missiles up at the sky, right? Because it was called Operation Fishbowl. Then after that, they formed NASA. And then after they formed NASA, they formed the peace treaty that everybody in the world has signed a peace treaty that nobody can travel to Antarctica, which if you look up Antarctica right now, Antarctica shows you that. Yeah, if you look up Antarctica and you look up all the different names of Antarctica, it's all in Russian. It's all in German, because Hitler was the first to explore Antarctica.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can, all the stuff I'm saying right now, you can Google, but people, no one wants to know the truth, because the truth, everyone is stuck in this false reality. Like, people think like the Matrix, the movie The Matrix. Huh?
You guys got y'all, but the information is available right now, internet era. Like, if something's real out there, the people are going to know now. It's no more of that hide and shit. So that's why it's hard for people to understand or believe these things that are not in your face, because nowadays, like, less than 10 years now, it all comes out like this, the way y'all saying it. Well, guess what? People are not going to, like, because the information is there. If it happened, it's there. The shit's available for everybody now. This ain't back in the day where there's secrets and shit.
Yeah, there's no secrets. Everything is in your face. Everything. I mean, like I said, Admiral Byrd, right? He was a Navy general. He went and explored Antarctica, and when he explored Antarctica, they flew over the ice wall and they went miles and miles in, and he discovered all this extra land that nobody knew about. And the way that they traveled from the tip of South America, the very bottom of South America. And if you remember, all of the when Obama was in office, all of them traveled to Brazil. You can Google this. Everybody.
So wait, what did Obama have to do with this? You brought Obama up. Like, what do you think?
So when Obama was in term, when Obama was president, you can Google it. When Obama went to South America, they all went. Obama. It was all the powers from all over the world. Everybody that was in high positions, they all met. It was like some peace treaty thing they was talking about. But that's the closest part to where that's the tip where Admiral Byrd ventured off from. That's where he ventured off from. And now you can't even travel in that area anymore. If you try to, you'll get blocked off by naval ships where they don't allow you to go in those waters.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting shit right there, boy.
Yeah, because information is dangerous. The thing is to keep everybody thinking the way you think. Right? It's good
The
for
way
us
I think. What the fuck are you mean? The way I think.
well, not the way you think, but but I'm saying the more like it keeps. They want everybody to be docile. They want everybody not to think like this. They want everybody to be like, well, this is this and that is this. They don't want you to question anything anymore. And it's right in front of you. Like as far as like aliens, right? As far as like aliens, right? We are the aliens. We honestly think that.
Now you're gonna have to land after this because Jimmy, I know he got something to say to that.
Yeah.
He just I want you to land after that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So we are the aliens, right? So in a sense, they say as above, so below, right? It says in the Bible, it says in every known religion, every known all these ancient civilizations, they all speak of the firmament. They all speak of the dome. They all speak of the worlds within the world, within the world, within the world, right?
Yeah,
And
but
so
that's a hypothesis, my friend. That's not a realization at all. It's a hypothesis and almost a mythological story. It was presented first in 1312, I believe, BC. Which the Egyptians created that, and it's an emphasis on the god of the dead. So you're really looking at a tempest and listening to stories because it is only a story. We are not aliens. We were created primordial soup. We have that factual evidence of it. We can trace our ancestors back to vertebrate fish, which was exposed almost 500 million years ago. We developed from a vertebrate fish. We have factual proof of that. There is alien civilization because there's no way that we could be in any shape. If you read the Bible, Ezekiel even speaks of these spaceships. And yes, in primitive minds today, maybe they're more secretive. Who knows? But we are not. We were created from this earth, my brother. And we have factual proof of that.
No one's saying that. That's not what's being said. What's being said is that
we are aliens. You did.
Well, you said we were aliens. We're the aliens.
We're the aliens because the reason why I say that we're the aliens is because once we leave out of this dome, right, we are the aliens to the other civilizations. That's why we're the aliens.
Well,
right?
No, bro. I'm talking about. You're making a fact that we're aliens of the earth. Because we're on the earth. Well, we're on the earth. Where else could we be? So we're not aliens.
We're in the earth. Okay,
I understand that, but we're indigenous. We're not derelict. We're indigenous, correct?
Of course we're indigenous, but we're in a dome, right? And it says it in the Bible. You said Ezekiel, but you still didn't mention the dome in the Bible.
Well, yeah, listen, the Bible is just a bunch of stories. The Bible is just...
So if the Bible is just a bunch of stories, you can't pick and choose which one is true, which one is fake.
Well, I'm not picking and choosing anything. I just don't believe in the Bible. I've already proved that it was written.
Let's not get into that.
No, but I'm saying it was written for first century Christians. But again, the Bible is stories pertained upon things that happened in history. Yes, when they said they walked across the sea, we already know that the Dead Sea has a walk path through it.
Well, actually, what that is I don't mean to jump in. What's up? I'm Brian. Real quick, that's something I know very much about. What it says is that Moses parted the Red Sea.
Exactly.
I meant the Red Sea.
But the
Right.
actual translation, the actual
Listen.
translation is the Reed Sea. What
Yeah,
it
but-
is, it was a super low tide on a full moon, so it was a
Yeah.
very low tide. They were able to cross through it.
They were able to
and then
walk
when the Roman
across
soldiers
it.
came in behind them,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
tide came in and
complete.
flooded them
Yeah,
and
but
killed
I
them.
understand. But that's a mythical story. That's not
But you
Moses
have to
did not
understand,
part
all
the sea.
of our Bible stories, literally the story of a virgin having the Son of God and the three wise men showing up months later, that story has been told in over 25 to 30 different religions. That's
The
a
different
basic story
religions,
that all modern
exactly.
All right,
religions
so wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
wait a
it's
minute,
just
wait
a
a minute.
mythical story.
No,
I mean, they didn't put it in the Bible.
It's based on the winter solstice, and it's
That's
based
not
on when to
true.
plant your crops and all that.
Bro,
It's very
look
involved.
at me.
Yeah, that's from every different religion, every different civilization.
B-Rad,
Yeah, that's the same story.
and B-Rad, guess
They
what?
added it into the Bible in 324 AD.
The Bible, if we want to be technical and talk about the
Now, that's
Bible,
another show. Y'all getting into another show.
Well, we're talking about
B-Rad.
aliens.
B-Rad,
okay,
now
so
they
okay,
said-
so we're gonna
we
say
were talking
alien,
about UFOs,
right?
and actually we're talking about if the government is hiding aliens, alien life.
The government-
And then we got
the
into a
government is-
question. They
All
got
right, so-
into a little thing about are we aliens? Are we actually aliens? Are human beings?
I got you. I'm
Let me
well
hear
prepared
what
for
your
this one.
opinion is on that specific topic. Are
I
we
got you.
aliens or not? What do you think?
Are we alien? No. What we are is what I believe is that aliens showed up way back when. They manipulated a Homo sapien
When?
species that was on this planet.
Around pyramid era? When? What are you saying?
Oh no, this is way long ago. The pyramids weren't built by the Egyptians. The pyramids were stumbled upon by the Egyptians. They added to it. The pyramids were here long before anybody recorded history, because people know what our history is. They've gotten rid of it. They wiped it clean. They've lied to us. Human beings didn't start 2,000 years ago. We didn't even start 10,000 years ago. We've been here a
I
lot
agree,
longer.
yeah.
But we were Homo sapien species here that were genetically manipulated by, so aliens, travelers, whatever. They genetically manipulated whatever fucking bipedal hominids were on this planet, came up with us, and we're made in the image and likeness of gods, but we were put into the existing creatures that were already here, and then we were grown. That's what I believe in. So we started out as cavemen or something even older than that. They injected us, and we became what we are today, humans. Because there's no fucking way that we went from living in caves, not knowing how to speak, to fucking driving around in cars 2,000 years later, 3,000 years. It's not possible. There's no way through evolution that's possible.
Can I say something about that? In the last 100 years, we went from Orville Wright trying to fling a plane on a beach to making rockets that go 3 times the speed of sound. Do me a favor.
Through technology.
But I want to explain something to you. I understand your theoretical perspective, but if you look at it in a scientific perspective, we're made of every single element on this earth. Yes, there is a growth process. We know about single cell structure, became above the single cell structure, and we knew that we came from a vertebrate fish from the ocean, man. Come on, bro. I got to be honest with you. It's a factual thing. We have scientific proof. We have scientific proof that whales came out of the water, developed into rhinos, and then went back into the water.
So what happened to the other? So what happened to the other species that haven't evolved?
Well, that's very simple. Neanderthal man died 25,000 years ago, along with the woolly mammoth, because they couldn't adjust and adapt to civilization. It's a very natural process of extinction, who survives and who doesn't survive. So it's very simple. There was over 200 human species. You got to remember, 200 human different species. Cro-Magnon was the only one that was able to survive through that premise of the changing of the earth since the ice age, which we're going to have another ice age, and we're going to go through the same process. That's why polar bears are going extinct. Man, come on. This is not some kind of conspiracy that aliens came down and injected us. We have proof of our growth, man, from this earth.
Yeah, but you have to understand, then modern day science, obviously, there's a lot of shit that they're not telling us, a lot of shit they don't know, or they're leaving
man. But listen to me.
But what I'm saying is to go from what people were to have this huge evolutionary jump in just a 2,000 or 3,000 year period to go
Who said
from
2,000 or 3,000 years? Where are you getting that from?
or even
This is
20,000
developed
years.
over
Even
millions of
20,000
years, my friend.
To go from Cro-Magnon man to today's modern.
Cro-Magnon man wasn't developed 2,000 years ago.
No, it was
I
like
don't-
20,000 years ago. What I'm saying is,
no, it
in
was
order to
more
go
than
from that-
20,000 years ago.
Maybe. I don't have the exact number.
No,
but
it's
the
not
bottom line
maybe.
is to go
It's
from
an
that-
approximation of, well, we've started developing what we call, this is way before the Neanderthal. This was where we came from climbing into trees to walking on our 2 feet. Yes, absolutely.
This is
Clovis
it's not like
record
the
shows
talk
that.
about the whole missing link.
evolution debates. But
When they
Jimmy,
keep talking about
why
this
would the
missing link,
government be
there's just not
hiding
enough time in evolutionary
aliens
history.
from us?
The reason
I wanna know
why
your
the
opinion
reason
as
why
an open
government
guy on the
the reason
panel. Why would the government be hiding the aliens from us? And
Well,
They're not. They're look. The government doesn't do anything that's not to their fucking benefit. They all of a sudden, 50 years ago, it was 50 years ago, it was taboo to talk about UFOs. Now they renamed them cleverly to UAPs so that they don't sound like crackpots when they're using the terms now, because UFO has been turned into a fucking conspiracy theory itself. But look, they didn't just come out 2 years ago and start telling us that UFOs are real for, to be nice. This is part of a plan. The rich people, the rich people that rule the fucking world, really rule it. They got a fucking plan. We're not part of it. And I'm telling you, they didn't just release this information about UAPs, UFOs, to be good people.
I didn't hear
And they
nobody
don't know what
release
it
no
is. If they
information.
didn't already know what's going on, they would never have told us about it. This is just part of a plan that they
Who
have.
released the information? I didn't see it wasn't released.
What are you
to the-
talking about? They admitted that UFOs are real 2 years ago. It was like a big official release statement, and nobody acknowledged it. It was like literally 2 years ago, right before the pandemic started.
it was on the news right before the pandemic. They released information,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
nobody
when
seemed to
Donald
give a
Trump
fuck.
came out. Donald Trump came out with this Space Force,
But they
which is,
didn't. No,
which
that's
is
been
the
in process for a long,
highest ranking military in the world.
The Trump.
It's a space navy, basically. But what you have to understand is, like I said, they didn't come out and say aliens are real or we have aliens. All they said is that they acknowledge that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, have been and are around. They don't know where they're from, what they are, any of that. They're not going to just come out and say that shit.
Alien life.
already know it.
UFOs could be a Russian fucking.
It's
spy
no, it's
thing
not.
or
It's just
something that
unknown
we can't
technology to
identify.
us. It's unknown technology to the everyday person. They already know what the fuck it is. It's their shit, and they're using it that way. It
Of
could be a
course.
fear-based campaign to take the rest of our rights away.
admitted to alien life. No, they didn't. They
Not
admitted
no,
to
no,
UFOs.
not at all, not at all. They
Well,
technology that everyday people don't know about yet,
Wherever.
and they're just using it to fucking set us up to take more power away from us. They're gonna scare us with these UFOs and pretend like there's an alien invasion when in reality that's not what's happening. I believe in aliens, but they're not involved in this whole situation that's going on. This is just strictly a government move to fuck with us,
What's
to
up?
move into the next fucking era of fear. That's what
Why
they do.
would the government hide the aliens from us?
It's not
The
alien.
government, so the government is not hiding anything from us. I think we're so stuck in the everyday life that we don't even see what's going on. We don't even follow what's going on. We sit and have debates about information that is information given, right? We're still talking about time dates. We're still talking about time dates that has no relevance. You're talking about a Gregorian calendar. You're not talking about a real calendar. The Mayan calendar, the calendar of all these civilizations that track the stars. We're talking about a Gregorian calendar.
Wow. Okay.
You're not even talking real.
Well,
You're not
we're basing what we talk about on the information that's been released. What I'm saying is there's tons of information that has been wiped clean or is being kept a secret.
I agree. Yes, you're right. I agree. And the reason why that all of this is happening, because honestly, people are still stuck on black and white, green, yellow. They're stuck on all this stupid shit, not paying attention and saying all this shit that doesn't make sense. The thing is that we are the new slaves. That's why they're not telling us stuff. We are the new slaves. It's about energy. We are energy sources. That's what we are. We're energy sources.
It all dates back to the whole Anunnaki discussion, which now
Exactly.
other governments have been acknowledging is real. We were built as a slave race
Exactly.
to mine gold to line their atmosphere.
I ain't no slave. Well, how am I a slave? Explain it.
Bro, what are you talking about? You get up and go to work
simple.
every day. You feed into the system on a
It's
daily
simple.
basis.
It's simple. Want me to tell you something? Watch
You don't
this.
use your mind. You don't
Okay,
use
so
your mind.
is that why the government hiding aliens from me? Then that's what I want to know.
The government's not hiding aliens. The government is basically not giving you enough information to empower yourself. They're
The government
spoon
is under
feeding
that
you.
thumb as well. There's many races apparently. I mean, apparently, and you can believe
Yeah, it's
whatever you
very
want.
simple. It's very simple. National security.
Well, yeah,
It's very
that,
simple.
but also, if they come out tomorrow and say aliens are real, that
Bro,
kind of
aliens
blows
are
religion.
real, and the
That kind of
government
blows
does have
religion out of the water.
the government does have aliens. The government does have
No,
knowledge
they
of
don't have
aliens.
the aliens.
We are not. We're not in. Listen, we're not. You're not Nord. We're not Nord. You know, Nord follows every single thing that flies around this whole fucking planet. And they know everything. And believe me, they're told not to report this. And who knows what it's for? But it's national security. We're making
the bottom line is if there if there are aliens here currently, which I believe there most likely are, our government or the world government people basically are not fucking in control of them. They're being told what to do. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, because the government.
I think you're making this. I think you're making this really.
Convoluted.
I don't agree with you guys at all. I'm sorry. That's absolutely insane.
Let me ask you this question.
There is no aliens running anybody. There's no aliens down here. I guarantee you that aliens have visited here. There's probably aliens in the ocean. Yeah, I believe all that shit.
So let me ask you this. You keep saying like the topic of this question is government. You guys.
The question is aliens.
No. The question is why is government? Why are government? Why is our government hiding this? That's the question.
It might be for our security and benefit. That's why I said national security. You don't know that, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to understand there's things that are put into place, and I'm going to tell you why I know this stuff. When I was in Israel, I worked with the Armored Guard. And I was doing a lot of training because I'm a 4th degree black belt in Indian karate, and we were doing Asguras, which is an Israeli style combat karate. I also knew a commando who I was invited. I stayed in his house right in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Okay, there are hidden stuff underneath the airport that we have no idea of. There's also stuff that is picked up. I understand, but there's a reason why we don't know a lot of stuff.
I just want to say this.
Topics, I think so. Let me hear him out.
I just want to say this. It's a lot of talk being said, but once again, we're going to talk about true facts, not what we heard from this person or who we meant this person or who we meant that person, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of peace treaties that goes on, right? We need to follow the peace treaties, right? There's different parts of the government, not the government.
Well, what does the peace treaties have to do with aliens?
That has everything to do with aliens.
Well,
what do you mean?
How? How does that have to do anything with aliens?
Because without peace treaties, how can aliens be here? Without any
I want to tell you something. You're
Yeah,
contradicting yourself. First of all, you just said that there is no. I'm being sorry. I'm just telling you. You're contradicting yourself. You just said that it's not true about aliens, and then you're saying that peace treaties are developed by aliens.
No, I didn't say that. No, what I said was we were the aliens. You got to pay attention. I didn't say that.
No, bro, I am paying attention.
So let me talk. No. You got to let me speak.
Bro, you interrupted me 15 times since I said something.
Actually, I didn't. It was just you two
I've been
talking.
listening to you, and you're not letting me finish. So now go ahead and talk. I'm not saying anything. Listen, I want to tell you what you're saying is making absolutely no sense whatsoever. You're scrambling from where the aliens don't exist to aliens are doing peace treaties.
Aliens don't exist. I said we are the aliens.
Listen, you're scrambling my brains like eggs, man. You got to come. Where are you coming from?
Your brain's already scrambled.
You're not making one bit of sense.
Yeah. You're talking about traveling all these different places, meeting all these different people.
I'm asking you about aliens.
Hold on.
I've been holding on, bro.
No,
you've been interrupting me since I started.
I'm not arguing with you because I don't need to argue with you. You understand?
I know. You probably have the aliens got to make a peace treaty.
You gotta. Hey, listen. You're just talking. You gotta have a dialect. A dialogue. You're just talking. Right?
I'm just talking.
Now, if you could listen. You can listen, dude. Listen.
I've been listening to you, man.
Oh, my God, dude. Hey, listen.
Oh, my God, dude. Bro, you're out of your mind, bro. I hate to tell you something. You're out of your mind, man.
If this is, Listen, let me tell you something. Everything that's being said right now, is all speculation. We're right here. We're talking. It's all speculation. You're saying all
No,
this
it's
stuff,
not.
but excuse me. Wait, come on, dude. You're saying all this stuff sitting in your living room, acting like this is that, this is this, right? Now, all I'm saying is that it is all speculation because it's all different sides of what we believe. So you got to stop saying that. You got to stop saying that. Like
Bro, saying what?
what you're saying is
Saying
right.
what? That there's aliens?
No,
But saying what? That there's aliens?
I'm saying that there are aliens. That we are the aliens. We are the inner aliens.
Okay, so what do I got?
It's
What do I
simple.
got to figure out? I've been making it simple.
So
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yo,
All I
listen,
simply said was there's
I'm gonna say
aliens.
this, like
And
I was
yes, the
saying
government
before.
knows about
Like I was
aliens.
saying before. What government? There's more than one government. You keep saying government. You don't even know what you're saying. You're saying
Well,
government.
let's
many
talk about
governments are
America,
there?
man.
Hey,
I'm talking about America. Really, I'm not worried
Mutha,
about anything
let me
else.
tell you something.
NATO was not
Mutha,
developed by aliens.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you
NATO
something.
was not developed by aliens.
Mutha, let me tell you something. Mutha, I just want to say this. Check this out. There's different parts of the government, and in the 50s, you had different parts of the government fighting against each other. Each other.
They're not doing that now?
Some of the government. Hey, yo, be quiet and let me finish. Some of the government was some parts of the government was actually trying to come out and say everything. That's why Ronald Reagan was up there trying to tell us that there are these UFOs traveling around. There's all this stuff because there was travel from inner space, not outer space, because you cannot get past the Van Allen belt. You can't. And I gave you it's a fact. And I gave you a timeline. And I told you all of this started with Admiral Byrd. If you take your phone out and you Google Admiral Byrd, you will find out. You don't know nothing about him. You don't know nothing about him.
Operation High Jump. So if you want to get into that, my question
Mutha, he knows. You see what I'm saying? That's what I was saying. See, he knows. The brother on top, he knows. Admiral Byrd started the whole thing. He came out and told the biggest secret that they did not want to get out. And after that happened, right? They immediately, he was executed. He was killed. And then they did Operation Fishbowl. Right? And they shot missiles up at the sky because they wanted to track the dome above us. Right? They wanted to track it to see how far it went. They wanted to track it.
3 miles.
Thank you. And this is documented. It all came out. It's all information that came out. And so then what happened was after Operation Fishbowl, they said, wait a minute, we can't let this get out to the public. Right? So then what they did was they came up with a peace treaty that nobody can come to Antarctica. Nobody. And then right after that, guess what? Exactly.
Governments across the world, governments and militaries across the world can't fucking get along on anything. Basic religious rights, women's rights. Yet they can all fucking agree that nobody is allowed to go to Antarctica.
It's because Antarctica. Because if you go to Antarctica, there's more land. That's where Hitler discovered that shit. That's why I'm telling you, look at it. You see everything.
There's all green land that's exposed up there. It's a lot of land that's wide open. But also you have to understand that once you get into the point of the whole firmament, the glass dome, as you refer to, when you get to Antarctica, that's where the dome itself, the firmament, is said to be lowest based on the shape.
Lowest, where you can go out, to the outer world. And that's where they travel. That's where all these UFOs come in from. And that's how we found out one. That's what we got our hands on one in the Roswell, right? We got our hands on it. And like I said, Ronald Reagan.
Our hands on it. Can we go see it? Where is it?
It's an ice wall that encapsulates our entire known 7 continents. So there's a giant ice wall around it. And apparently there are, during summer months at this point in the Earth, there are times where you can get to an exposed area where you can get through the ice wall, and that's where you get into other land. No. Actually, it's more along the lines of like Greek mythology and shit.
Right.
They point a lot to it. These other lands, these other places, these other worlds are supposedly, now this is just stuff I've researched. I'm not really huge into it, but I've done a lot of research into it. But there's like outer lands outside of what we know, beyond basically an ice wall that's similar to what you would see in Game of Thrones.
And that's where the civilizations are coming from, into here.
Exactly.
Those are the aliens. We're aliens to them. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you something.
Where was referred to in this concept? Where was referred to as the known lands?
Exactly.
We have people living here, and then apparently there's other lands outside of our ice wall. Apparently, there's a lot more land on this planet than we're aware of. But again, this is all just information that's been compiled through stories that have been written since the beginning of time with man. I mean, beginning of man. You know what I mean?
Of man, right? The beginning of man
that we know of. But also, you have to understand, like basically the World Library, whatever they referred to it as, way back when, was burned. It was burned to the ground. All the information apparently lost. All these crazy books lost, but some of the books did get out. These are books that have writings in regard to
like the Terror Papers.
Yeah, Atlantis and shit like that, like the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that kind of stuff. These are all papers that actually made it out of this, basic library, historical library.
Like there's still people, right, that you will consider aliens. The civilization that lasts, that all these tunnels that he keeps referring to underground are the tunnels that our civilization, we created from a fight with another civilization trying to survive. Mm-hmm. We created this. We've been here longer than all this other shit talking about we evolved from fucking apes and monkeys. It's not true. That was a hypothesis made up. It was made up. You understand? That's what I keep saying. People keep referring to this shit like it's fact. It's not. This man made the fucking hypothesis up saying that we came from monkeys. So why monkeys now can't evolve? Why gorillas can't evolve?
Actually, I mean, as to what you're saying, and also the other gentleman who stepped out, basically, he was saying that, we evolved and, basically evolution theory. But like you said, it was a theory, a hypothesis that we came from gorillas, monkeys, from that area, basically like chimpanzees, basically, and we evolved further on to be us. But what I was saying is there's no way that we could evolve from that to what we are in a couple 100,000 years. No, that's
impossible. That's what I'm saying. We've been here for a long time, dude. We've been here for a long time. People keep referring.
If you need proof as to how long that shit takes, there's actually video that just came out a few months ago, maybe a couple of years ago, of chimpanzees, like basically like a lost tribe, a tribe that we had never filmed and never had human contact with before, but had heard about it, where they're much bigger than normal chimps. So we found them and we were keeping an eye on them. And throughout doing that, we came across.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we also came across chimps that they documented are starting to use rocks as tools, like making hammers, attaching rocks to sticks with twine and shit. So technically, we're watching a troop of chimpanzees basically enter their Stone Age. So that, that'll give you an idea. So if you want to say that, okay, so they just hit their Stone Age, and then you want to say they turn into people in what, 300, 400,000 years? Like, no, bro, you need millions. The reason they decided to go with the whole chimpanzee theory, because it made the most sense at the time, but also it's because we share a DNA structure of like 99.5% with them. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this. We share DNA structure with everyone, with every living thing. But did you know that?
Yeah, we're about living thing with everything. 75% or better. But what I'm saying, the most similar to ours came in at like almost exact. It's like 99.5%. So that's why they went along with that as the most accepted theory. But still, it's not.
You know what changes? You know what changes a baby from being a male or female?
Yeah,
because all babies, right, and also sound frequencies, that increase testosterone in the body, right? So the thing that I'm saying is that all eggs in every species, it starts off the same way. We all start off the same way, the same exact way.
That's why, like, we have just as much a match in our DNA with chimpanzees as we do with some forms of lizards. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, exactly.
So like that whole theory of the chimpanzee thing, which at the time, you know, because we're still in the infancy of science and medicine, we're fucking below caveman status in our fucking in our travels as far as medication, medicine in general, and just knowing about our bodies and DNA and all that shit. We're in the infant stages. We just started, so we got a long way to go. There's a lot of information out there we don't know, but at the time, from what they did think they knew, it made the most sense that we would come from chimpanzees because they look pretty similar. They have a very close DNA structure. I mean, super close. But that 0.5% that we're different from them, that's insane amounts of information.
So I'm gonna say this. This is what's passed through through my bloodline and what we know, right? And there was a great fight between us, right? And we had a great fight where we lost. And a lot of us escaped.
Driven underground between us and basically like a fucking lizard type people. To be honest, I mean that's what the stories are. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all stuff that, you know, I've looked into it, I've watched, I've read about it for years and shit.
Yeah, but he was telling a story about.
I'm not really that deep into this. I go deep into other areas, but I do know a bit about this, you know. But yeah, apparently we had a war. We joined forces with some other type of human that's on this planet that doesn't come from our area, our known area. I forget what they were referred to as. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, we had to go up against, you know, these like lizard creatures apparently that came here. They're one of the evil races of, you know, humanoid type figures. Although, like I said, they're mainly lizards. I don't know. It's crazy. It's wild shit. But so yeah, we wound up fighting against them and we wound up losing, and we were driven underground both to protect us from, now this gets into antediluvian with the Great Flood, not the last one that we all know about, but many that have taken place prior to it. So they had to go underground to hide from that. Also, it was to go underground to get away from, you know, these individuals that we just lost. And they feed basically on energy, basically is what, you know, they need. That's like their sustenance, what keeps them good. So it also comes down to like slave races and all this shit. And who knows, man, at that point it gets into fucking crazy, like intergalactic politics, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm not that deep on this shit, you know what I'm saying? But I have scratched the surface. So I know what he's talking about. Absolutely. And, you know, it's one of the many possibilities, you know, it's thoroughly researched. There's apparently there's entrances to, basically this gets into the whole idea of inner Earth as well, that there's an Earth within our Earth, and that would be if you keep seeing UFOs coming out of the ocean and shit like that. That would make the most sense that they're going into, you know, inner Earth tunnels or something like that underneath the ocean, whether it be gates, portals, whatever the fuck it is.
The aliens are us. And what I was gonna say is that, basically, is that the fight was between us, right? The fight is basically, and this is gonna sound a little weird starting off, but the fight is actually against melanin, right? And the thing is that all of us have melanin. We all sit and we all say, this person doesn't have this person have. It was a fight, right? And the more melanin you have, the more harder it is to genetically change or modify your DNA, because melanin coats itself around your DNA. Right? So it was a big war that happened between ourselves, right? Because we were genetically changing and altering ourselves, right? And there was already different beings from outer Earth that was traveling here, right? Because if you look up at a star, all you see is a twinkle light. You take your phone and you zoom in on it. All you see is like if you take a flashlight and put it in water, and you see, and that's what you see. You see vibration. You see sound waves. That's what you see. You're not going to see what they're showing you with CGI. It doesn't exist. The planets that they saying that none of it exists. It's all CGI, right? And so, in a sense, we fought ourselves, right? And what we created, we made it with, right? And it was like blasphemy, right? And so what happened was some of us wanted to keep them in existence. This is where the story of the fall of Olympus comes from, right? and through every religion, every known civilization, we fought amongst ourselves. We fought amongst ourselves so bad because some of us was having children, and some of us didn't want those children to be executed or killed. So what happened was we fought ourselves, right? Now the Great Seal, right? That's on a dollar bill is from our future the past civilization that we had. That's why we had more presidents than we say presidents now. You understand? Because all of this information, all of this stuff. Remember, those that win, they write the story, right? But see, I can sit here and say I can trace myself back 20, 23, 24 generations. I can say that, right?
Mhm.
I can say that, right? And so being that is the truth. We have to start with the bare minimum first. The bare minimum first. And the bare minimum is that do we honestly think that we know the land that we live in? Do we honestly think that all the things that are being told to us is true? Right? Do we honestly think that?
No, whoever said that? Nobody said
Right,
that.
right, exactly. And so it's the same thing with people talking about Egypt and pharaohs and all of this. But if you look and pay attention to what pharaohs was saying, they all was referring to a land that is their home. Why would they refer to a land that is their home? Every time in scriptures, everybody always talk about all these other scriptures, but they don't know anything about any of the other scriptures. They only know what they keep showing on TV. And who are the people showing it on TV?
A
Right?
lot of people pick what they want to use and
Exactly.
use it. Well, okay,
Exactly.
hold on 1 second. Shout out to my boy Alan. He's joining Conspiracy. And
Yo,
he
what
missed
up?
out on this shit.
Sorry, I'm late.
But, we
I'm
about to
waiting
get
for my
into
food. My
the
bad.
Trump shit in a minute. Jimmy had an emergency, but he coming back.
Yeah, no doubt. I showed up late too. I
He
apologize.
got off work, so we
Shout-
can't see him, but y'all will see him Monday. Y'all can't see him right now.
Yeah, I apologize. I was late too. I'm B-Rad. What's going on?
Shout
Yeah,
out
it's
to the
all right.
pups.
I'm
Shout
used
out
to
the
all
pups
y'all.
That's
on
what's
set.
up.
But yeah,
Pups on
I hear
set.
you,
Pups
KB.
on set.
What happened?
I
This
said,
motherfucker.
I'm literally still driving to my hotel.
Man, you're drunk as fuck. Anybody else in the car?
No, just want 2 dogs, bro.
Oh, awesome.
I'm not
I
drunk. I
think
had 3
dogs.
shots.
I think
I'm not a
dogs
lightweight.
might be
I'm
the
not you.
aliens too. Sometimes, So we were talking about aliens and the government hiding aliens from us and stuff.
Yo, aliens are real, bro. Aliens are real.
I don't believe the government
We're
is
not the
hiding
smartest people
aliens.
out there. Aliens are real. We're not the smartest out there. Let's face the facts. If we learn some shit, like learn how to like build shit and learn how to like do other things, other people learn that before us. Let's face it. We ain't that smart.
Regardless if aliens are real or not, believe me, you should have just heard the conversation, so you'll know where my opinion lies on that shit. But anyway, it's funny because 20, 30 years ago, if anybody were to say anything about UFOs or aliens, you were a fucking psychopath. You know what I mean? Like seriously, like they would put people didn't talk about it. They would put you in a mental hospital. Your friends wouldn't talk to you anymore if you started talking about an alien abducted me or some weird shit, or that you saw some weird shit. All the way down to you could get silenced for that shit.
Yeah, the CIA created a whole
Regardless of who it
department in the government to silence people. They
it could be even far further than that. It could be some other entity that fucking handles that shit. Whatever it may be. I'm just saying, like, the bottom line is it's funny to me that 20, 30 years ago, then you look back 50, 70 years ago, you were a fucking nutbag if you talked about aliens or conspiracies of any kind of fucking flying saucers and shit like that. They made people look dumb. They actually started.
Even now, you might be, because shout out to my boy. I know this is my first time seeing him like on the channel, Black Wolf. He said, "Bro, thank you so much. I love you for this, dog. That's all I have to say. Keep this shit up." So people are curious, dudes in the streets. They want to hear these type. They feel like they the only ones thinking like about other life and other, it's crazy. And we spoke about that planet they say they found that's like 10 times as big as the Earth, but it's like the Earth to where they're saying it could be human life. There are just life there.
Well, when they say that
Light
because
years to
it
get
means
there.
that planet, whatever solar system it's in, wherever its sun is, based on its sun, there's a thing called the Goldilocks area, and that's an area in which we know that known life like us and shit on our planet can live in. It's within like 3 degrees, X amount of fresh water, that kind of shit, and it's all figured out. So whenever they come across a planet that's in one of these known Goldilocks zones from a sun, they say, you know, it could host alien life because it is in that zone. They're not saying like it does because of the way it's made or what's on the planet specifically. Based on what we know about life
Thank you.
So they say that about a lot of planets. You know, but there's conversations right now about there being other planets in our solar system that are just on a huge elliptical orbit that we don't fucking see except every 3,000 years because it's on this wild ass orbit that just goes so far out of our sight.
Thank you.
The planet,
I just want to know this.
Like
I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question real quick, right? So I just, you know, all this information that's gathered, right? When you go overseas, you hear totally different information than what all this information that's bombarded here in the United States, right? In the United States. So if I just want to say this, if NASA comes out and says that nothing has never went past the Van Allen belt, then how are we able to say all the things that we're saying?
Well, the Van Allen belt is a radiation belt, right? So what that statement was saying when NASA released it, they're saying that no known biological entity that we know of can go past this Van Allen radiation belt and survive because you'll be dosed with insane amounts of radiation.
So how did we land on the moon?
Because you have to understand the ships that the crafts that we use to go into outer space, even deep space.
Have you seen it?
They block radiation.
Have you seen it?
I'm just talking about theory. None of what I say on this podcast is what I necessarily believe or don't believe. None of what I say.
I'm saying, have you seen it?
Because nobody knows that.
No, I'm saying, have you seen it? Have you went to go view it?
I've never been to space. I'm just talking about
not space. Not space. I'm talking about have you went to the Space Museum and seen what they said they landed on the moon with?
Yeah, of course. I'm not talking about what they landed on the moon with. I'm talking about what they used to get to the moon, which is also it's kind of a joke when you look at it, but you have to understand outside of this Earth, as long as you can get out of our fucking atmosphere based on what we all know or believe is true because of what we've been taught about outer space. Once you get out there, there's no pressure. So you have to understand having a wall that's made of something that's a little thicker than tinfoil isn't that big of a deal when you're in outer space because it's not like you're underwater. There's no pressure. Okay, what you need to worry about is anti-pressure, is the fact that there's no pressure, and if you get even the slightest fucking hole or nick in your shit, you're gonna implode.
So check this out. So you go in space. So check this out. You go in space with tinfoil, right? Don't you got small debris traveling at millions of miles flying through? So it can't puncture that, break that shit up. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
No, at this point you're getting into astrophysics because you have to understand once you leave an atmosphere, whatever entity is in outer space creates its own fucking atmosphere. So that's how the Earth deflects things as well. Not everything gets burned up in our atmosphere. Things bounce off of our fucking ionosphere. Rays, heavy doses of radiation.
If it comes in too fast at a different angle.
Black wolf.
Right, and you learned this in school, right? School taught you this, right?
School and between shit that I've read and watched on the internet, like of course. But
so that's what I'm saying. So if you go and look at it. Just
I've seen it. I've been to the museum in fucking New York City, but also the one in Long Island. I've been to multiple times.
If you go and look at it, if you go and look at it, just like if you go look at a beat up ass car, you know that this car can't make it to such and such and such blocks. You know that the shit can't. So I'm saying to you, this is what I'm saying. I keep hearing all of this stuff being said. Right? I hear all of it being said. I don't hear no logic from anybody that's being said like, hey, wait a minute, hold on, let me think. Because nobody think anymore. Nobody. Everybody repeats the same shit.
When I first became informed of the Van Allen radiation belt, and this again, this, like I was telling Bush, I'm 40 years old. I just turned 40. I've been into this stuff since I'm like 13, 14, 15. Like the minute I got the internet in my house, when back in AOL days, I'd be on Alta Vista just looking up different books and different shit, all about this kind of stuff, all about all this wild shit, all this wild Bigfoot, everything, the whole fucking nine. And it's just like a guilty pleasure of mine. You know, if I see something on UFOs on YouTube that looks solid, like I'll check it out. You know what I'm saying? I watch this shit all the time just because that's my guilty pleasure. That and fucking ignorant hood videos. I love that shit. I can't get enough of it. But so I'm just saying, like I've seen, you know, 25, 30 years worth of this shit. You know what I mean? I've paid attention to it and I fucking like it, so I remember a lot of it. And it's wild, but I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say that, you know, we landed on the moon with looks like it'd be fucking ripped in half by a 10-year-old because it's made of tinfoil.
I just want to know how we land. How you know?
Okay,
you know.
What you have to understand
one thing is Walt Disney had his hand in us going to the moon. One thing is it's so much information that shows. How is this possible? How the fuck can a camera follow the craft going up in the air?
The discussion you want to have, there's answers to that, but the discussions you want to have is all based on information that's all going to be secondhand because nobody was fucking there, and the ones that are there talking cryptic messages, or they're starting to get senile, so they'll say something and then they'll never tell you any more information that you need to back that one thing up.
Right, right. But I'm just saying, look, listen. No. See, we all we do is talking.
With a real answer, and you're gonna fucking know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. The question you asked, I have a specific answer for that. What you're talking about, the craft that landed on the moon, the one that you're talking about that looks like it's tinfoil, basically it fucking is. It's actually much stronger than tinfoil and it's reinforced, but you have to understand, again, it's going into a place where there's no pressure. There's no atmosphere on the fucking moon, with the exception of some bullshit. It doesn't make gravity, so there's no pressure. So you can land it in fucking cardboard if you want. Now, what you're talking about is the LEM, the lunar module. That's the thing that's going to go down and actually land. Hold on, it only supports 2 people. Okay, that is being dropped off of another craft, which is the craft that separates from the rocket. It's the bell piece from the rocket, and that's what they go to the moon in. Okay, that circles around the moon. It stops. It stops, and it lets go of them, and they go down in that little thing.
I know all of that. I know all of that. You know that I don't need to know that. What I'm saying to you is that.
Lander. That's it.
Right. So what I'm saying. So check it. What I'm saying to you is that all that you're saying, you still didn't say it. If you look at the Red Bull competition, when they went all the way to the highest point and they dropped, what type of vehicle did they have in that 0G?
That's exactly like the capsule.
What did he? No. Wait. What did he? No. It's not. You're wrong.
Looks like a capsule. It looks like a capsule. It doesn't look like the drop ship. It doesn't look like the module.
Listen, this is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm saying, right? All I'm saying is this: is that we stop using our common sense and start listening to all the shit we hear. We stop asking questions. We start going along with everything that everybody keeps saying. We start going along, right? But nobody's actually doing their research. You know who is a scientist? You are. You are.
Everybody is.
Right?
I don't understand.
And that's facts.
Watch documentaries.
No, see, once again, you messed up again. You said I watch documents.
I watch documentaries. I mean, what else would I do?
Look, you just heard what you said. Now watch this. Now watch this. Now watch this. Who's doing the documentaries?
It depends. There's some solid.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Right? This is what I'm saying, right?
Well, so, I also said that I read.
This is what I'm saying.
I mean, I can't get.
This is what I'm saying. Yo, bro, I could show you books that you don't have. I could show you books you don't have.
You can, but what I'm saying is I can only get so much information.
Let me say this. All right, I understand. So let me say this. There's people, right, that sit and know the truth. Right? And those that know don't tell, and those that tell don't know. You understand?
Yeah.
So what you saying, listen. What you saying is just talk. You know, it's just talk, brother. It's talk. There's a lot of stuff Is a lot of stuff
I'm
out
talking
there.
about known information. I'm not talking about shit we don't know, because if I had my fucking way, I'd go speak to very specific people, but it would entail me learning languages and fucking really knowing languages and studying their fucking cultures for 15 years. And I don't got time to do that. But if I did have time to do that, I'd know exactly who I'd go and speak to find out what's really going on. But I'm talking about known information, what we know as of right now. You know, and I'm not going to say that we landed on the moon. I'm not going to say that we didn't either. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest, based on the information that's out there.
I think the
we
truth be
probably
told.
did. I think we probably did, but I think it's sketchy how they got rid of all their fucking data and all their information.
I feel because it never happened. We was in a rush. We was in a rush to compete with Russia.
We were in an arms war, and they were doing better as far as getting in outer space.
Of course, so was China. But this is what I'm trying to say: is how did we do all this stuff?
That's why
when we did Operation Fishbowl. How did we do all this stuff?
That's why I don't necessarily believe it.
I don't believe. Yo, listen. It's a belief. When you see pictures of the Earth
from outer space, when you see those pictures of the Earth, outer space, you know, the blue marble.
It's fuck.
Yo, well, they already said that that's not a real picture. It's a CGI rendering of what they believe. It's a very specific way NASA words it. It's a CGI rendering of what they believe it looks like. They didn't say what.
We got a caller, y'all. Hold up.
Send a voice.
Yo, what up? Where you calling from? What's your name?
It's EST87 from Greensboro, North Carolina.
What up, EST87, my boy? Let me hear what you gotta say, my boy.
What it do?
What it do? You good?
Can't nobody learn nothing when the temperature is high. Everybody trying to scream and force somebody to learn something. We gotta have calm heads.
You're right. I was trying to calm them down, but they getting
still.
That's why I'm trying to get my boy Jimmy back. The temperature got a little too hot for him. I'm like, hey.
That's why I've been trying to calm it down, but I've also been talking a lot. But I'm not getting off on
the channel, so I'm gonna listen to him for sure. But
what else? Yeah. I mean, if you want somebody to learn something, throw something out there. Let people research. You can't push it down nobody's throat to believe what you want to believe. Give him the information.
True facts.
Hopefully, he come back to the same conclusion.
You're right, homie. You're right. Appreciate
it. He's got information. He's got a good sense of like a good point of view and shit. I wanted to hear it, but he started getting all crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who started getting crazy?
And again, like I'm just saying, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but none of what I'm talking about do I necessarily believe or not believe. This is all information based on, like I said, years and like 20, 30 years of watching videos and reading shit and reading books and back checking on stories that I've
heard. You said it earlier, you were just saying
but it's all the flow of information is all man-made regardless, you know what I mean? So like who knows what the fucking truth is? And I'm just going off of what's out there and what I've heard and the best I can put it together to make sense in my mind. But again, I don't necessarily believe or disbelieve any of what I'm talking about, and none of it is factual. None of this is actually factual. All right, it's for entertainment purposes, and it's just
none of it's factual. You don't believe in what you're saying. You don't believe your shit.
No, what I'm saying is I believe it to be factual, and it's stuff that it's said to be factual. What I'm saying is we're in no way saying it's facts because we don't fucking know, and we can't speak facts on YouTube. It's all for entertainment purposes and for informational purposes. If you hear something that you vibe with on the show, when we're done, search it. Don't use Google, but search it. Go on DuckDuckGo or some other server.
DuckDuckGo, yeah, exactly. Go to DuckDuckGo.
Get some real information. Don't Google it. Get some real information.
Right.
I'm gonna say this though.
Research, check into it from your own opinion, which is what I've done. But this is not factual, and this is not my beliefs.
Hold on 1 second. We heard you. Let the STGs. Let my boy.
Go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear him. I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna start with saying is, as a grown man, I don't adopt the concept of believe. I either know or I don't know, and if I don't know, I'm gonna find out. But to believe as a grown man is kind of childish. I don't like that word.
Real talk.
Having faith is a little weird.
Talking about the scholarship, you can get knowledge and scholarship anywhere. You just got to cross-reference your work from multiple sources. Just like writing a book, you can't have one reference.
Exactly.
Cross-reference everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go to college. You need a fucking library pass. That's it.
Follow man.
Go learn yourself. Seriously.
That's why I was saying.
For sure. Good looking, my boy. Appreciate you.
That's why I was saying is that we have to be the scientists again. We have to go out and venture out and put things together and not just take things for face value. We have to go deeper. And I think that in today's times we don't really do that. We hear something and then we it's factual, right? But just like the brother just said, a belief is not the truth, right? And a fact is not a truth neither, because a fact can be changed later. The truth is that all of us breathe air. That's a universal truth. Right? And we got to start from the fundamentals when breaking something down and really trying to understand something.
Well,
right?
let's be honest here about the alien thing. Like,
right.
You think that intelligence, if it was here before, they wouldn't know that, how to get back here, or like, what the fuck? Oh, they just got dumb all of a sudden and just.
No, you have to understand time is relative. Like they're fucking, if they're traveling
they got
light years
here,
away.
first of all, they're of higher intelligence.
Yes, and they may be able to get here in 20 seconds. They may be able to get here in 20 seconds, but you have to understand is that time is relative. Like if they still, in time, in theory, had to travel back to wherever they're going to. So they're actually going in front of time, reality of that. Because by the time it turns in our time to that time, it could be 1,000 fucking years later, but to them it's 10 minutes. You know,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say just basically like this, man. I feel like, go ahead, brother. You got a call coming in?
Yeah, but go ahead, keep talking.
Answer the call. Answer the call.
I was gonna say just like this, man. Hold on.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you good,
Well,
brother. You good.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, peace. This is James from LA.
Oh, this is my boy James Hudson from LA.
What up, James Hudson? What's going on, brother?
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Got KB in the building. He's shaking the building up right now. You see what's going on. But let me hear what you got to say, homie. We always appreciate your input.
KB shaking the table. I like them table shakers.
That's right, brother.
No doubt. I just wanted to speak on briefly. I used to live out in Pasadena. And
shout out to Pasadena.
Shout out to Pasadena.
Been there. Shout out to Pasadena.
I live in Altadena, bro.
Oh shit.
Oh, you in Altadena? Yeah, I used to live in Pasadena. Right there, right off Fair Oaks.
Oh, that's what's up, yo. I'm straight up lake, all the way up to the top to Altadena.
Straight up lake. Yeah, I used to go to the famous hat right there on Lake. That's the lake. That's the hat.
They talking that Cali shit.
But what I wanted to say is going up to when I stayed in Pasadena, JPL is in Pasadena, which is Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Yep.
So we used to go up there, and we was, had gotten like, I guess, too close to the border or whatever, just going up there, and all of a sudden, some government officials showed up and told us that we needed to turn back around, and meaning that they always have things monitored, and the government is always keeping things from us that we don't want us to know. And so when you talk about Area 51, that has recently been declassified, where there has been evidence of flying objects, explained aerial phenomena, and you can't explain them away. So I just think that if we went to the moon, I mean, it's been debated, but I just think that if we seeing these flying objects now, that they can't explain them away now. It's been too many pilots and too many people in government that have come forward and confirmed these sightings, and they can't be explained away.
Plus, too many eyes on the sky. Everybody's looking up, and they all got cameras and video cameras, and they're super high quality these days. So, like, they can't fucking deny it. There's more pictures of this shit in the past 10 years than there ever was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, everything, you can get caught in 4K now. And so now, being caught in 4K, they can't fake nothing now. It's in real time being caught.
Right.
That's as high definition as you can get being caught in 4K. And so that's how they was able to catch the the PNB with the 4K license plates, and it's 4K is the motherfucker. But getting back on the subject, the government is constantly keeping things from us. I personally been through it when I was living in Pasadena, going up to JPL, and seeing that how the government is on things. And but yeah, the table is being shook, the channel lit. I just wanted to tap in with you real.
Wow, appreciate you, my boy. Jay.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
Good input.
Yeah, no, it's wild what he's talking about. Being rolled up by definitely what's going to be armed security guards, no doubt. Whether they have their guns out on these guys or not is a different story. But yeah, they're going to come up and tell you can't get any closer, and they're getting to you, a quarter mile before they even get to their perimeter gate. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even come across a gate yet. So
the messed up part is you can't even inquire like why or what.
Nope, exactly. Because once they say classified or for magic eyes or whatever the fuck it is, nobody can know about it except for certain people. But we know it's there because security came up. They didn't roll up on it for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But like they keep tabs on fucking all their properties, and even the old ones. Like where I live, there's multiple places where there were bases here, where they kept men and God knows what, apparently rockets and whatnot, but they're empty now. They're super old and they're up in the woods and shit. I've been to them before. Some of them you can walk into and they're just fucking empty, like tunnels and caverns and rooms with nothing in them. It's all cement underground shit. But then there's other ones that are like 2 towns over, which I had never fucking heard of until a year and a half ago when I saw a YouTube video about it. And then I asked around with a couple people that I know that I figured would know about it. And one of them actually had heard about it and was telling me that
information from YouTube, don't you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I found out about this military installation that's been closed down. That's like 2 towns over from my house, which I know of all the shit that goes on around here. Never heard of this one. It closed in the 70s, but apparently it's been closed since the 70s. There's a fence over it. Basically, it looks like a cave. It's a cutout in a rock. And then you go in there and there's a doorway and you get into this system of fucking underground bunkers and whatnot. But like to this day, if you go there, cops roll on you almost immediately. So it's like the area is definitely under surveillance of cameras of some sort, and somebody's still fucking watching them. But apparently the tunnels go way down, and nobody's gotten to the bottom of it because the cops always roll on them. But from what people have seen, it's huge. But I drove near the area. It's about a 2-mile hike into the woods and shit. But yeah, if you go up there, man, like they're gonna see you immediately, and you're fucked. You can't get out of there. It's too deep. It's too far. There's nothing near it. So I haven't gotten in there, but it's wild, and I've seen pictures of it that somebody showed me too, and it's pretty fucking wild, man. And
we about to end this show.
Nobody knows about it, and fucking it's still being watched, but it's never been used in 30, 40 years.
So I just want to say, man, I mean, we got to really think about why they're actually like, holding this information. Why do people hold information from you? They hold information from not even, it's not so much power, but it's also to restrict your power. Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
So them holding secrets and holding all these things from us is because maybe we may be enlightened from it. Because remember, a mobocracy can't be a mobocracy if we don't come together, right? That can't exist, right? So
my bad.
No, go ahead, brother. What you got to say?
No, what's the penalty for like a government worker that has these type of super classified information that tells somebody, like, what is the laws with that, or how do they keep these secrets like this?
Well, let me start off like this.
What they do is when you sign those papers, you're basically saying that if you release the information that's deemed to be classified or for only specific people, if you release that information, you get charged with a very heavy military crime, which results in death. Like, you will be killed. You know what I'm saying? Firing line or hung or some shit. They keep it old school too in the military. But not only that, the way they keep these people quiet, because then what's to stop you from talking on your deathbed? They'll go after your family. Like, they make that quite obvious. When somebody starts talking, first off, when somebody comes out and says something on the internet, like, nobody gives a fuck at first, and nobody hears about it at first. Nobody pays attention to it. Nobody listens to it. In order to tell people the truth about what's going on out there, these people got to come out multiple times and say it. So after the first couple times they mention it, all of a sudden, they'll tell him, like, we'll fucking kill you, He doesn't believe him. He keeps pushing it. They're not just going to kill him right away. But all of a sudden, they'll start scaring the shit out of you and your family. They'll break into your fucking house. They'll fuck with things. They'll let you know that you're not safe, that they can get in and out of wherever the fuck you're at any fucking time, and you can't do anything about it. And then if you keep resisting, they'll fucking hurt your family to shut you the fuck up.
So a lot of people that are high rank in military is usually is family. It's just like if you would see in a union or any type of thing, it's nepotism, it's family. So the reason why they don't tell is because those that know don't tell, and those that tell don't know. right?
Knowledge
So
is power.
okay, so basically, you know, the higher you go, everyone knows each other. This is this person's son. This is that person's son. You know, it's a family thing, right? And sometimes you may get people that come out and tell, and they're dealt with, right? But you don't tell. One, there's perps to everything that you do, you know, and they know not to tell because it's like I said again, they're all family. It's all family, you know.
Well, also what it
Politicians,
comes down to,
everything. It's all family.
but also you have to understand what it also comes down to is like, you know, people that wind up talking are people that have come through and seen these things and been around these things. Usually it's going to be people in the military, Air Force, Navy, even Army or whatever.
As workers, yeah.
Yeah, of course, whether they're workers or they're like test pilots or whatever the fuck they do,
Right.
you know what I mean? Whatever little bit of information they have, because it's all compartmentalized. When they're working on these things, you know, if they're working on a UFO, they're going to have, you know, 1,000 people working on it. Like, you're going to talk to one other person, and that's it. Nobody's going to be talking to each other. That way, there's no flow of information. You're working on what you're working on. Your area of
Yeah, that was on a YouTube video. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just makes sense. You have to understand this.
Yeah, bro. That was Listen. It's the thing is that, you know, people don't really. It's like if you joined and became a police officer, you know, you got into a police force. After a while, you are an individual, but then later it's a brotherhood, right?
Cool.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing in government. I have a friend. My friend passed away. His mother was in the military. She was high ranking, and he was Secret Service. He died 5 years ago. Right. So it's a lot of stuff. I'm not even, it's none of my business to talk on here and tell, but it's a lot of stuff. And these people get in because it's family. It's all family. That's why they don't tell. The ones that come out and start telling is the ones that feel like they have to give this information back to humanity. We have to do this because they think that it's gonna shift something, but it can't. Because one, the media is controlled, everything's controlled, right? So the best thing to do is like you see like on this podcast, what we doing, you know, what my boy Muta doing, what y'all doing. This is good, right? But the thing is that people have to start. What you're doing is you're planting a seed. People have to start waking up and taking the information and start being scientists, start being these people to, you know, realize the etymology of things and do their studies, get back into really going deep and cross-referencing things so you could really start to understand, because it's a journey with all of us. You know what I mean? It's a journey with all of us as a self journey.
You're 100% right. Like, basically, that's what I was talking about. Like, I watch things, I read things, I read a lot because reading is usually less fuckery. Nobody writes a book that's all bullshit unless they have a very specific reason. But people can make a bullshit documentary based on their point of view. So, you know, I try to read a lot. But basically, what it comes down to, we were talking about with the flow of information with people who do eventually come out or that say that things happen, that people that were, you know, like Buzz Aldrin eventually on his deathbed was talking, before he died, was talking about shit that he really saw when he was up, you know, on the moon and stuff like that. And you know, who knows what it is?
He admitted that he wasn't there.
No. He said he was there and that they saw things. No, he said that they saw, you know, they saw crafts and they saw things like that. Apparently, there's a whole story that when they landed, there's like 2 minutes of lost communication between NASA and them that was being played on radio or on TV. No, they were having this conversation. People say it could be a fake conversation. Whether they were there or not, I don't know. Like I said, the verdict's still out, in my opinion. I'm still studying. I thought I knew, but I still question it. But anyway, so they said there were two minutes of communication that disappeared, and apparently that's when Buzz Aldrin had radioed back to NASA, saying, like, he says something like there's tons of them, like they're all lined up on the edge of the far crater. So apparently they landed near a crater, and then on the far edge of it, where it started to get dark, apparently they could see like crafts of some sort, ships or whatever, and individuals there. And they were talking about them being there. And they told them, and later on in other missions, there was information that would come out of recordings of conversations with the astronauts, and they would say like, oh, they're still watching us. And you hear NASA just say, well, just ignore them, continue what you're doing. And it happens really quick. You barely even hear it. And it's information that's been released, and you can listen to it. And they don't acknowledge it when they get questioned about what the fuck were you talking about. So in the middle of just audio, you'll just hear, oh yeah, they're still watching us, and NASA comes back with just continue to do what you're doing, and they go back to talking about the rocks that they're picking up, whatever the fuck, and they go about their merry way. But apparently there's people out there. But anyway, as you were talking about the flow of information and people not coming out later on in life, like I applaud these people, military people that know things and see things. It's a big deal for them to come out and talk about it when they're told not to, especially even for, you have to understand, a lot of these people that come out with this information, they're career military. They don't do 4 years and get out. Or if they do, then they come back immediately as a government contractor and they're still working with the government. I'm talking about people who have been involved, like you said, family, been involved with these people for 20, 30, 40 years over a career.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
When these people come out and they say things, I tend to believe them because they're putting a lot on the line, and they're also the kind of people who would know. But like you said before, they don't have other information to go along with it, so it winds up not mattering. Plus, you really can't do anything just because he says it. They can deny it. They cannot even acknowledge it. You know what I mean? But like, I applaud the people that do come out and say shit. But even when you get down to somebody who just did 4 years and gets out, right? If they saw something weird, they don't talk about it because they're still part of this brotherhood. Whether they were in it for 4 years or 40 years, some people just go deeper with it. But when you join the military and you become a Marine, you become a Navy a sailor or even a SEAL, special forces of any kind, you get into really heavy oaths, you know what I mean? And you believe in that shit. So they're not going to talk about it for the most part either.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a club and you don't talk about shit.
My brother's a Marine too. Yep.
Exactly. And then when you get into people who sign NDAs and sign government forms saying that you won't talk about shit you've seen, if you do, it's going to be fucking considered treason, basically.
It's basically treason. Yeah, it's treason.
Revealing government secrets, you would get death for it. So when you get a guy like Edward Snowden who fucking comes out and talks about how they're fucking watching us on a daily basis with our cameras and our fucking refrigerators that have cameras, anything with a camera, they're watching it, they're tapping it, they're using it against you, that kind of shit. They're using it to control you. And he comes out and tells us, and now he's got to live in Russia, which he was just granted. Citizenship in Russia the other day, finally.
Yeah, but see, you know what the thing is that
they'll give them up sooner or later. It's different departments in government, right? That actually fight against each other, that actually do shit directly against each other, just to have an upper hand, but it's at our expense. Right. That's because you have to understand these people, again, you're talking about military people, high-ranking military people. They haven't fucking been in a combat field in fucking 30, 40 years, if ever. They deal with X's and O's. They're a playbook type person. You're just a chess piece when you're on the lower portion.
It's mental. It's all mental. Yep. It's the architect.
Chess is the true meaning of how to do battle in combat when you really play it properly, using your rooks and all that shit, and you use these pieces that they're gonna die or go down and be taken off the board, and you put them strategically. They just get used. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of military strategy. So these people don't look at people like people. They look at them as fucking numbers and percentages on a battlefield and how to move them.
Let's be honest. We don't want our military weak. So
no, hell no. No, hell no. That's what I'm talking about. Like these people are needed. I love our military first and foremost. I just want to thank anybody for their service, whether you were in combat or not. It doesn't fucking matter. The machine needs to move, and it gets moved by these people. Not everybody gets to be fucking Rambo. You know what I mean? So I applaud all our military people. I'm 100% down with the troops, 1,000%. There's a difference between our troops and the government. That's bottom line. People are given orders. They fucking follow orders. So some extenuating circumstances, yeah, but just in general, you just do what you're told to do. And nobody gets in these crazy positions where they have to fucking kill innocent people off, and that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just do what they're told to do, and not everyone's a bad person. So rock with the troops. You don't have to be for the government, but rock with our troops. That's just our people right there.
And for sure, on that note, we got love for the troops. Shout out to the troops.
Absolutely.
For the troops.
And it was a great show. Appreciate the new guest, KB. Hopefully he messed with this channel because this was real crazy. We're going to get Jimmy back. We're going to shake it up. But
yo, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. Yo, it's gotta be somebody level-headed that's gonna be like, yo, you gotta think, man, because you gotta be careful.
Okay, but it's a debate. It's cool. It's all gravy.
Debating, calm, controlled debating is awesome.
Exactly, it's awesome.
The room is getting super tight. It's like first off,
yo, he's getting crazy tight, bro.
If you're gonna be listen again to the thing. And then if it's something that we could work on to be like everybody, be able to be, whatever, and we'll do it because he's one of my best friends. So
Yeah, no, of course. But the bottom line is, if you're going to get into this whole end of studying shit as far as like, you know, UFOs and conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it, that kind of type of shit, you got to understand that these aren't beliefs. They're not facts. All right. These are ideas and concepts that you may believe in.
Exactly.
Because an idea or a concept can absolutely be changed, but a belief, an idea versus belief, a belief is a fucking solid thing. You don't change a belief. That's your core belief. Don't believe any of this shit. Just understand that you can have ideas and where things go. That way, later on with new information, you can fix these things. Don't write things in stone.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about it is that we all have different concepts. We all have different things that we understand about things, and it's good to share it. But you don't have to just block somebody off and say this and that. You have to sit, because you know something. You might say something that I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think of it that way. You know what I mean? Let me go check this shit out. Let me check this shit out. And that's what it has to be, you know? We have to have clear conversations.
Yeah, if you don't agree, that's fine. You just got to fucking listen and then tell them your theory.
Tell them your theory. That's why we're here. We want to hear each other's theories now.
Because you know, Homeboy definitely has
that we ever had on this channel. It was a great show. Next, KB gonna come up with the topics we're gonna debate about. He gonna produce the next episode.
Oh man. Yo, I got something, man. You already got something that's gonna shake everybody up, man.
And you know, like this KB.
Grab my email and grab my phone number and shit. We'll all
I already got something, bro. Like something that's like, you know, yo, listen.
Well, y'all heard it here first, so get ready. It's coming next week at this conspiracy debates.
I gotta pitch this real quick, Bush. Hold on, one sec. I have a video. Obviously, Bush, you heard about it a few times. I have a video that I've been working on. It's fully produced at this point. I know exactly what it's going to be and what it's going to say. All I need to do is just pull the actual video and do the voiceover. So it's going to be coming out in the next few days. So if you fuck with this kind of stuff, this is going to be a video that's right up your alley. I'm not going to get into it. Basically, it's just something happens in the back of a known video series that everybody knows about. A lot of people watch it. Something happens in the background and nobody fucking acknowledged it. The show didn't acknowledge it. Nobody talked about it on the internet. I've been looking at it for fucking 4 months now. It's driving me crazy. So I'm gonna pull this video out. So it's definitely a well-known thing. So if you like this, you'll definitely fuck with this video. It'll be short, you know, a minute or two. That's it. But I just want you to see what I saw that nobody's talking about. That's actually the best proof they have, better than the show. So
shout out,
that's about it.
87 shout out to James Hudson and everybody else for checking.
Yo, blessings, man. I appreciate you, brothers.
Everybody, what's up? Thank you for coming in. We appreciate that shit.
Yo, Muth, appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah, you too, bro. Bringing strong information, strong content.
All of the show. All right, y'all. Peace.